Welcome back to Stationeers. I'm Rob, and in today's episode we are looking at logic. We look at the basic understanding of logic. In front of me we have the IC housing, which is not logic, that is programmable. Then we have the three logical components that you need, the base of it. You can use more, but this is the base. The difference between these three and this is that this one can contain all three. This one uses 50 watt. And these two uses 10 each. So if you have a small system you want to code or program, and you only use, let's say, 2 of these or 3 of these, then this one is not a good idea because it will use more power compared to these two. So that is, of course, the logic can do more. Now, regarding these, you have an I/O. I/O stands for input and output. The I/O can read and write in certain ways. So we have logic, reader and writer, you have bats, you have a mirror, and so on and so forth. Also slot. Slot, if you look at this one has a slot which is the input. It also has a slot which is the output. And you can read that with a slot reader. And the bats reader and bats writer is to write to multiple different things. Or read to multiple different things. The memory is what it says it is. It's a memory. It can hold a certain value for you to use in your processing of a certain data. So let's say you want to convert from Kelvin to Celsius, or you want to get the angle of the sun or whatever, you can have it on here. The processor is the brain. You have 6 different math units you can scroll between. The normal one to go with is the math or compare or min and max. The rest you can easily go with them. They take some more, they're not as common as the other ones, but compare and math are very much used in everything you do. Now, a simple thing to use with these is a sensor or a switch. So first we're going to do a simple one. We're going to take a lamp. We're going to take a switch. Let's take a lever. Now we want to turn that on by using this. And we want to take out our tablet. Turn it on. Now, on our tablet we have a configuration cartridges. Now the configuration can read. You can see that I have open, I have lock, I have setting, and I have prefab hash. These are logic types. If I look at the other one, I have power, I have lock, I have on, and I have quiet power, and I have the prefab hash. Again, the prefab hash is the name of this model. So it's not something you use in your programming way unless you're using IC housing, but it's the name. So that minus 18600646656 is the name of this particular wall light. So all wall light has this number. It's like the ID, it's like this particular code for this device. So what we want to do, we want to take this lever, flip it down, and then this one should turn on. Now, when you look at it, right now it's turned off. You look at the setting. Now the setting is on 1. It also says open, but that's because we have opened it. Sorry. The correct one to read with is setting. You can also go for on, but if it's a button like the clicky one, then it would not say open, it will say setting still. Great. Now what we do is take a logic. Let's see, we can put it here. Take a logic. We take a logic reader. And put like this. Because now it looks nice. We want there. Wow. So now we have the logic reader there. We want to take a cable, like so. That is the ingoing input, so the data input. And then we want to pull from the output to somewhere. Of course, we want some power. And now that we have power on this one, we can actually turn it on. You see it's blinking red because it has an arrow. It also says currently flashing an arrow. And that's correct because we haven't set in the pins yet. Before we set the pins, let's put in a logic writer. And we're just going to pop it here. Simple as that. Take some more cable. Pop some cable down here. Pop some cable around here. And there we are. Now, what we're going to do, turn this one on. Normally, you should leave them off while you set them. The reason for that is if it's on and it's doing something, especially the writer, then when you as you go along and changing these, it might change something in your system. So always keep them off while you're adjusting them. So the logic reader will set to the first one, but we only have one here. And why is that? We only have the lever, and why is that? Because we only have the lever on our input. Now that we have set that, we have set him on here. On the variable, we can change this to where we want to be, and we want to be on setting. So if you pull him down and turn him on, you can see the setting is 1. That's good. So let's go over here. Again, he's Again, he's blinking red or blinking orange. That's because he's also arrow, because nothing of this has been set. So here we want to set something, but as you can see here, I have a lot of things. Like a lot. I have everything that's on this cable and I don't know which one this is. So to fix that, to take out your labeler, turn him on, and saying, let's say, lever reader. And then you can see, okay, this is our lever reader, because he's on the lever, and he will then send out a variable to our logic writer. Now on a logic writer, we will then write, let's say lamp writer. Now this lamp will then, this reader will now be able to be set to the lever reader. So let's find him here. The lever reader, oh, that was easy. This right here. If I go forward, I can press C and it goes backwards. You see the hold C to go to previous object. We want to set the output variable, but as you see, there's no device, so we cannot set him. We want to set on the wall light. So let's again name that light. So light testing light, just for fun and kicks. So now we can find him here somewhere. Testing light. So now we have found him, and we can do the on. So the on is the current state of this lamp. Turn him on. There you are. So here it's very simple. You don't need a memory. You don't need anything. You just need this to turn him on. And there we are. You send the state of 1 through here, up here. In Stationeers program, 1 means on or active or enabled. Either one will do. Off will means a 0 will mean off, deactivated, or something in that area. So fantastic. We can turn him on. Lovely. Now what if we change this guy to a switch of this type? Well, he's blinking red now. He's not happy. We want to fix that, so just put him like this, but he's still blinking red. Why is that? It's because now the variable has been changed back to 0, or to nothing. So again, still works. That's nice. And this is probably the nice looking switch to have. Okay, so now I've changed around a little bit. I've mounted an LED up here instead of a lamp, which I have now over here. The reason for this is LED, the LED is different compared to the lamp. So the lamp you see has only power, lock on, and required power, where the LED has also color. Now we can change the color on this one, and this is what we're going to do. So we're going to take an IO, pop it down here, logic writer, pop him away, and we want to do, where is it? Cable. We want to do a little bit of cable work here. Of course, you can see he's now upside down. Not very nice, but it is how it is. We're going to take our memory this time, because we just want to set the color. So we're going to pop the memory down here, like this. Take some cable. There we are. To pick a color, there's two ways. You can send the variable. Let's do this way first. Let's first do this way. Let's say that this one will set the color. So input will be the logic reader, sorry, which is the lever reader. Lever reader. The output will be testing LED. Yep. And the variable that we want to change is color. So now that you have set all these, you have the color there. You have the light. You can turn him on. You can see he has changed color. Why is that? Why does it change color when you have not even done anything? Well, I'll show you just in a second. Let's first turn him on, see what happens. Oh, change color. And why is that? Well, if you go into your Stationeers, search for color, go down, you find color. Here you can see the different colors. So let's say we want to put him to red. We want to put this little one to red. What we're going to do is we're going to take out a leveler. You can turn him on. We're going to hit that little lever there. That's the easiest way to write to him. We're going to write 4. 4 because it's the number 4 for red. We're going to change this one. Turn him on first. We're going to change this one to the memory. We're going to change this memory to testing memory. Testing. Now we want to take him to testing memory. Turn him on, and he's red. Turn on, and it's a red color. Okay, so now that I've moved him around, I'll turn on the light. You see, he's red. Now let's try to change that. If we click on these small ones over here, we can change the color accordingly. So see how we can flicker through all the colors. And it only, of course, only has a certain amount. Let's just go down to 4 again. And this is because we're changing the color variable. And this way, we will be able to, set the color depending on the state of the situation we're in. So now that we know how to set the color, we know to turn the light. What if we want to set a console to show value from, let's say, this battery, this one? So the console comes in like this. You know them already. You have used them several times, I assume. And they have several versions. So a console dual, console monitor, and an LED display. Now, an LED display doesn't need anything else than just an input. It doesn't need a chip or anything inside. So let me clean up this mess, and then we can see how we can write to this one. So what we need, of course, the console. So let's just pop in there. Fantastic. Cable on. And nothing happens. It shows a big 0. Useless. Now we need the IOs again. So we need a reader and a writer. So what we want to read and what we want to write, we want to write what the reader is reading. So here you can see a lot of things. You see the charge, you see the maximum, you see the ratio, the power potential, and the power actual. We want to read some of these and put them onto our little display over there for, let's say, a power room. So let's first take our reader, so logic reader, we put him right here. And over here we take a logic writer. Pop that there. Let's take out some cables. Let's take out some cable tool. You see that flicking that was there? That's because I'm changing the system while there's power on, and the system doesn't always like that. Nothing should happen from it, but be aware that's why it happens. So let's turn him off. Let's label him first. So LED testing LED. Just so we know where he is. So logic testing reader. Of course, you'll name these according to what you're doing, not like this. Unless you are doing a test like this, then you will do like this. Second thing, you take in the read. So you want to find out what this one is called. What is it called? It's called station battery large. I'm not going to change that. And let's say station battery large. Good. And right now it says none because I haven't chosen this variable. So what we want to read? We want to read mode or error, lock, charge, maximum. Let's go over here. So what looks fun to read over here? It looks fun to read power actual. And that would be the current usage. So there you see, it shows the actual value of the battery. Lovely. Now we want to put onto this one. So input will be the testing. I think it's this one. Testing read. It was backwards. Sometimes they're easier. They are in alphabetic order, so sometimes it's easier going the opposite way. We want to write out to the testing LED, this one, and we want to write to the setting. Even though we're writing out a certain value, it's still the setting. Setting is the go-to here. Turn it on, and you have something. So, yeah, you see, that looks weird because you only have 3 digits, and it's not really a lot. However, if you want something big, take him off again, and you take the big boy. He requires more LEDs, but you can also do a really big boy. And we're going to do the really big boy. Big boy. Of course, he will use a little bit more power. I think so. I haven't checked that, but I believe he uses more power. So testing LED. His settings is the same. Let's turn it on. Because that's not. Let's do. His setting is the same as the other one. So let's say here, setting, turn it on. There we have it. Big numbers. And that is basically it. So if you want to say, nah, we don't want to see power. Actually, we want to see, let's say, ratio. This is the wrong one I'm looking at. Yeah. Whoops, I changed the color. But you can change the color on them as well. On the reader, of course, you have to change the power to, let's say, ratio, and then this is the ratio, and ratio means the percentage of power in the battery. So now there's 70%, something in like 70% in the battery. And you look over here, it's more or less like a bit. It's more than half, and then you can see how much you actually have in the battery. But listen to that noise. Yeah, they are noisy to have. They're quiet in terms of power usage, but they're noisy. So as you can see, I moved them around a little bit. I moved everything over here so we can actually hide it in here, and we can have a nice wall here. So first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna I've already turned him on. We're gonna take our labeler just to label them so we know they are labeled correct. So LED testing, or testing LED. Testing sensor. you don't need to label stuff. It's just easier, especially when you're in a large circle like I am. You could have an APC here, a transform or something to separate it, but I don't have that. Right, pop him down there. Now that looks nice. Neat, nice and neat. So first thing we're going to take is our IC. We're going to take our logic reader. And we're going to pop him like this. The reason why I'm popping upside down is because here we will then just send straight to him. We're going to take another one, which is our reader. Again, he's just going to read from that one. So before we can connect these two together, we need to have a processor to do some math. We're going to pop it out here. And it's going to be a math. Where are you? Just like so. We're going to take a memory. We're going to take some cables. Did I? No, I didn't screw up. I'm going to pop him in there. Where is it? There. So we're going to pop some cable there. Cable there. I know my cable management is off the charts. It's amazing. Oh, come on. Yeah. Little blink, that's lovely. And the last one. Then straight down. Fantastic. Throw him there. No, don't throw him there. So, let me just name everything. So now that we've named everything and we've put everything together, you can see it looks awful. And yes, it does. But if we take our door, pop it like this, haha, looks nice. You cannot see it. So we first need to set things up. So in our we want to read from the math. So let's find a testing. Let's take a screwdriver. Testing math, which is this one. Output, we only have one, and we want to set the setting. And the input of the logic reader. Oh, that's wrong. That's the wrong unit up there. I apologize. We want the logic reader. We want the logic reader. So now, now that we have that one set up, we're going to do our logic reader. He's going to read. He's going to read from the only thing he can read from, which is the sensor. He's going to read the temperature. You can change to whatever you want, but we want to do the temperature. Turn him on. See, he has the 294 Kelvin, which is rubbish for us. So we want to save the conversion rate on this one. And everybody knows that conversion between Celsius and Kelvin is 273.15. Of course, everyone knows that. But no, of course not. So you take a labeler, you hit that one, you write 273.15 and put him away. On this one, it's very easy, very important that you with them in the correct order. So first, of course, subtract. Take from the testing reader. You take the testing math memory. Turn it on, and I get 21. And you look in my right corner. Here, same thing. So they actually more or less correspond. This, of course, is more accurate than our suit. Then you turn him on.
Hydration
critical. Do you not get power? It's because you don't get power. Just a second. Right. So yeah, it needs power direct as well. But now we have a direct view of the temperature in our base. Just by that. This is 30 watt plus the LED, and now it's hidden. But you can just faintly hear from here, so it's a bit noisy. When you get close to it, it's of course very noisy. That's the side benefit of it. Side effect of it. And that's just how something you have to get used to when you use it. But that is a good beginning to using logic. Everything, more or less, can be made with logic. Is it more effective? No, it's not. It's more expensive in terms of power, and it takes more time and takes a lot more space on cables. But it's when you know logic, then you can do IC housing afterwards. It's more or less the same. Just to point out how much we're actually using now. So this one now supplies just this with power, and we're using 30 watt. If we pop down an IC house, we'll use 50 more. It's it's expensive. Yes, it is, but it's decent. It's easy. Anyway, that is what I would consider a good basic understanding on using logic. I will do more of these logic basic understandings further down the line to achieve the difference between logic and IC chips. But it's holiday time, and next 2 weeks nothing will come up from me. I hope you're having a fantastic great day, and I'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.